Irish moment. Stand up. Stand up for Ireland.
This is not something I ever thought I'd see, you know.
Nigel, this is great, isn't it? I mean, I'm astonished. If we'd had this in 2010, we'd be running the country now.
Well, you know, I mean, I'm so thrilled. No, I really mean, I am so thrilled to be here today. I have been to new Eurosceptic movements all over Europe over the course of the last 20 years. But of course, I was involved with the birth of UKIP. And it was very difficult for us in those days. I mean, we got no media coverage, no money, and meetings were about all we had. And I remember once in a village in Wiltshire called Hanging in Langford, and I was doing a meeting in the village hall, and we put an advert in the pub, we put an advert in the post office, we leafleted every house in the area, and I was optimistic. I thought, well, I wonder how many people will turn up to hear the message. And do you know how many came to that meeting? None. None. My worst public meeting, no one turned up at all. And I had a few others where half a dozen came, or whatever. But let me tell you, when we kicked off UKIP as a party, with our intention to fight elections, and we were further down the road than the movement is here at the moment, we couldn't have dreamt of a crowd. Not just of this size, but hey, of this enthusiasm. So you've got something here. There is a gap in the political market here in Ireland. And I tell you what, you lot, I think, are going to fill it.
What do you think is at the heart of this revolt, this revolution? Because Trump's identified it, you identified it. There's something there. It's the EU, of course, but there's something more profound.
Yeah, do you know, if you go back and think about the people that used to govern us, you know, in America, people like General Eisenhower, who'd masterminded the D-Day landings, became the president. You know, we had people who sat in Parliament for us in Westminster, people who'd been coal miners, who'd got to the top of their profession in the trade union, people who'd run charities, people who'd been decorated for bravery in war. The people that used to represent us and make our laws were people who had experience of life. And what has happened right across the Western world is that's been replaced by career politicians. I look at the UK. The UK, over the course of the last 20 years, basically, they all go to the same handful of schools, they all go to the same university, they all do the same degree, they all marry each other's sisters. I mean, the whole thing. And to them, the most important thing is getting re-elected. The most important thing is keeping that career going. And because of that, they have fallen victim to the big business lobby. Don't underestimate the size and the power of the multinationals, the big banks, the Goldman Sachs, the JP Morgans. You know, they want a world of corporatism, a world where they effectively own the political class, own the law-making system of government, and that's why Brussels is, I mean, it is the temple to the globalists, because Brussels actually, many of them see as the prototype for something far bigger. Hillary Clinton wanted America to be part of what she called a hemispheric common market. She wanted to take the Brussels model and extend it further. So we've got career politicians, we've got people there without conviction, people there without courage, falling victim to big government arguments, big business arguments. And what we need in politics are some real people. That's what we need.
And also, we need to have a conversation. I mean, the media's role in all of this is really central, isn't it? That it's almost the first problem that you need to address, to create conditions where you can actually even talk about these things.
Very difficult. I mean, take the immigration debate in the United Kingdom. I didn't discuss immigration in 1999 when I was first elected. It wasn't an issue. But by 2004, it had become an issue because we'd opened the door to 8 and then 10 former communist countries. And for daring to talk about this subject, I mean, I've been demonised in just the most extraordinary way. Now, I'm pleased to say, over a decade on from making this argument, I think now people realise, actually, the point I was making was a valid, respectable point. But it is difficult not to be demonised. It is difficult not to be demonised. But, you know, I said earlier, the worst thing is not to be talked about. You know, if they're attacking you, if the establishment are attacking you for what you stand for, don't let it worry you. Oh, look, the foreign flag!
Come out! Burn this!
I think it's time for
Burn this! Burn this! Burn this!
I saw something like that.
Burn this!
I saw something like that in the referendum. And it reminded me that when I started doing this 25 years ago, I used to protest against the establishment. And now the establishment are protesting against us.
Trump is not really about Trump. Trump is about something much bigger. He's about the same thing you're about, isn't he?
Well, you know, Trump called Brexit. He called it on Good Morning Britain with Piers Morgan about 3 months before. Trump said, I think the people of the UK are going to vote for Brexit because they want to make their own laws, have their own identity and control their own borders. Boom, boom, boom. He got it, didn't he? He absolutely understood what it was all about. I don't think Trump thought he had a cat's chance in hell of winning the presidency until Brexit happened. And once Brexit happened, he began to think, this is interesting. We've got a model here that we can follow. I went to Mississippi. And that was amazing. So I turned up in Mississippi, and the governor said, I want you to speak with Trump at a fundraising dinner for about 1,000 people. I said, fine, no problem at all. We did the dinner. Afterwards, it was off to the basketball stadium, where there were 20,000 people. And I thought, well, this is going to be real fun. I'm going to sit there and watch how Trump does this. And it's starting at 7:30. At 7:20, Trump's aide comes over to me and says, we'd like you to speak. So I'm sorry. And at that point, Donald walks over to me, says, right, I get to this bit in my speech, and I call you up on stage. I said, what, you're the warm-up act?